We're going to do the diagonal patterns for the lower extremities. They're not used they're not used as much as the upper extremities. I probably use portions of them when it comes to developmental patterns, but the upper extremity one is used a lot more often. I made a mistake, believe it or not. D2 is hip extension, adduction, internal rotation. Okay? Going into flexion, abduction, external rotation. Okay?
So only the rotation is changed?
Yeah, only the rotation has changed.
For D2 only, right?
For D2 only.
Oh, no, for D2,
Yeah, both rotations.
starting and
Switch.
Yeah.
Starting and ending.
But just for D2. So D1 is correct, as it is. D2, just alternate the rotations.
Start internal rotation and end external rotation.
Correct. So this is the leg, okay?
D2.
All right. So come towards me a little bit. Okay. So the first one is D1. Remember, D1s always start in abduction. Okay. That's how you know it's D1. Starts in abduction. Starts out in abduction, extension, and internal rotation. Okay? So my hand is above her malleoli and rotating inward. Internal rotation. Okay? Going to flexion, adduction, external rotation. And let's bend your knee a little bit. There we go. Okay? Okay,
It's not full
so,
flexion.
pardon?
It's not full flexion. It's
I could do full flexion if I need to.
Okay. When would you need to? Like, what would be?
If I'm doing range and I want to get that much flexion at the hip, I could do that.
Okay, because the more you flex the knee, the further you're going to be able to move the hip.
Right.
Right.
Okay? So that's D1. D2, hip extension, adduction, internal rotation. So I'm like this, starting in, and I'm going out to hip flexion, abduction, external rotation. So hip extension, adduction, internal rotation, going into hip flexion, abduction, external rotation. Okay? So those are the diagonals. I think for the scenarios, I think you get to choose a diagonal when the scenarios get. You get to choose a diagonal, upper or lower extremity. But notice that you have to really shift your body weight. This is one where you really need good body mechanics. We don't want to have to lift Michael's leg. Right? So it's a weight shift. Okay? All right, so next is the ankle. Okay, what happens at the ankle?
Dorsey and
Plantar flexion. Okay? Inversion, eversion a little lower. Okay, but we'll start with dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. This is something you're going to use a lot when it comes to stretching, especially the gastrocs. If you do pediatrics, you do a lot of stretching. Also, what muscle do you think would get tight if she lays in this position all the time and gravity's pulling down on her feet? The gastrocs are going to get tight. Okay? And then we have the fashion industry. Okay? So I can tell you, especially treating women that are in their 60s that have worn high heels all their life, it's very hard for them to wear flat shoes because they've got really tight gastrocs. And high heels, as you get older, are an invitation to falling. So we don't want that to happen. Okay, so come on up. So the first one I'm going to do is plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, okay? So the first thing I do, gastrocs attach above the knee, and then into the palmar fascia. My hand is on the calcaneus. It cups the calcaneus, cupping the calcaneus. And can you see I can kind of do like a little, I'm doing a distraction. Doing a distraction. I'm bringing her calcaneus away from her knee. Just a little, not a lot. Okay. Also notice that the ball of her foot is on my forearm. Okay. Also notice that my legs are abducted. My knees will be flexed. My hips are flexed. Actually, I have hip flexion contractors, but anyways. Hands on the shin, and I'm shifting my weight towards her knee. Okay? And dorsiflexion, and then I can go into plantar flexion just by changing the position of my hand. It's like, oh, this is great. Okay, so if I want to stretch the gastrocs, I just get in this position and I hold. Okay, how long am I going to hold for?
30 seconds.
Okay. If it was me, how long are you going to hold for?
1:30.
Okay. If it was me, how long are you going to hold for?
60.
60. Okay. Oh yeah, her.
1, 2, 30 done.
You know that doesn't work in the clinic, right? Okay. Okay. Well, let's say I want to stretch and I want to use some contract relax. Okay. So I'm stretching her dorsiflexion. I'm stretching her gastrocs into dorsiflexion, and that's about as far as I can go. I want you to push the ball of your foot into my hand like you were stepping on the gas pedal. Push, 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 push. And now relax, and notice I can go a little further. Okay? How would I do resistive range of motion for dorsiflexion?
Push against your arm.
Where?
From the beginning.
You do it. So so I want to go. I want to resist dorsiflexion.
Push it small.
Plantar flexion.
Oh, okay, dorsiflexion.
Put your hand on your
Okay,
side.
yeah. Now pull. Slowly. Good. Let go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So resistive range of motion, and then how could I do resistive plantar flexion? Yeah, I could even do this. Okay, here. Okay, like you're stepping on the gas pedal. Push, 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 push. And now bring your toes to your nose. And push.
Gas pedal and toes.
Okay, works. Stand on your tippy toes. Okay, so that is ankle. Okay, moving down a little further for inversion, eversion. Okay, inversion is down and in, and eversion is up and out. Okay, can you see that? And a lot of it happens down here. Down and in, up and out. Down and in, up and out. I can stabilize the calcaneus because I don't want a lot of extra motion happening up here. I can go down and in, up and out. So I'm stabilized. I'm really holding on to the calcaneus, going down and in, up and out. Because other than that, I might get a lot of extra movement here. So stabilizing the calcaneus. My hand can be here as well. So I could do this way from the hallux side or from the little toe side. Okay, so that's inversion, eversion. Then we get to the toes. Very rarely do you do toes, although I've done toes working next door in an outpatient clinic, working next door to a podiatrist office. The toe that they care most about, the big toe, the hallux. Okay, and we care about that because you need 70 degrees of extension for normal gait and push-off. So you need a lot of extension for the great toe. Okay, so again, we'll start with the metatarsal since we did that for the others. Okay, and again, I can do a sort of a mass elevation and then depression. So it's kind of a rounding.
I know, I'm like, I should have volunteered.
So this one would be depression. Elevation.
So pulling them. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really more of the outside metatarsal, so the one on the hallux side and one on the little toe side. And again, just like the hand, the one on the little toe side or the little finger side is going to have more range or more flexibility. In and out. You can also do elevation and depression, same way we did individually each metatarsal. Elevate and depress, elevate and depress, elevate and depress, elevate and depress, elevate and depress. Okay, so great toe. Same thing as what we've done in the hand. I'm going to hold the metatarsal and I'm going to flex and extend. Flex and extend. We don't have to worry about AB and abduction and extension at the CMC joint. Okay, so notice see how much extension she's got? Okay, and then the IP joint, flexion and extension. Flexion and extension. And then you could do a mass flexion and mass extension. And of course, you could do each little toe. Okay, same thing. You want to hold the other toes out of the way when you're doing it. Okay, so you want to practice those? Come back.